Irish PM Leo Varadkar said an innocent child who was lost has now been found and returned. Irish-Israeli national Emily Hearn was released by Hamas. Israeli government spokesperson Alon Levy on Sunday hit out at Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar over his statement on the release of 9-year-old Irish-Israeli captive Emily Hearn. In a statement posted on X on Saturday, Leo Varadkar said an innocent child who was lost has now been found and returned, and we breathe massive sign of relief. Our prayers have been answered, Varadkar said. Responding to Varadkar's ex-post, Levy said hand was not lost. Responding to Varadkar's ex-post, Levy said hand was not lost but had been brutally abducted by the death squads that massacred her neighbors. She was not found. Hamas knew where she was all along and cynically held her as a hostage. And Hamas did not answer your prayers, it answered Israel's military pressure, Levy wrote. Emily Hand was not lost. She was brutally abducted by the death squads that massacred her neighbors. By the death squad and massacred her neighbors, she was not found. Hamas knew where she was all along and cynically held her as a hostage, and Hamas did not answer your prayers, it answered Israel's military pressure. The terms lost and found are misleading. 8-year-old Emily was lost when she was kidnapped from a kibbutz by Hamas terrorists. She was found 50 days later when she was exchanged by Hamas for the Palestinian prisoners. Without Israel's military pressure on Hamas, which Ireland shamefully called something approaching revenge, little Emily Hand would still be a hostage of Hamas. It is not that Hamas was blind, but now it sees. If the above statement is an illusion to amazing grace, Levy added. Israel and Ireland unusually have strained ties after Hamas launched a surprise assault in Israel on October 7. Varadkar decried the attack, during which over 1,200 people were killed and 240 were taken hostages. However, days later, the Irish Prime Minister became one of the few European officials to raise the alarm, Al Jazeera reported. Israel does not have the right to do wrong, Varadkar said in something of a play on words, as most European leaders were stressing Israel's right to self-defense during its bombing campaign on Gaza, the enclave ruled by Hamas. Irish President Michael D. Higgins, whose role is largely ceremonial, has also been critical of Israel, accusing it of reducing international law around the protection of civilians to tatters. This is how you describe a little girl who went missing during a storm in a forest, then get discovered by a friendly hiker. Not a girl brutally abducted by death squads that brutally miscowed and massacred her neighbors. But this explains the extent of Ireland's contribution prayers, Levy wrote in another post after Emily's release. Emily Hand was one of about 240 people snatched by Hamas gunmen when they broke through Gaza's militarized border with Israel on October 7. Hamas on Saturday released a second group of Israeli and foreign civilians it had been holding hostage in the Gaza Strip in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Israeli authorities said 13 Israelis, including Emily, and 4 Thai citizens had returned to Israel. Emily turned 9 earlier this month while being held captive. Her father, Thomas Hand, who was born in Ireland and later moved to Israel, told news agency AP earlier this month that initially he thought his daughter had been killed in the attack. Later on, we had an eyewitness who saw her being led away by the terrorists into a van to Gaza after the attack of the Be'eri kibbutz, he said. Behind the report.